please, wait, before you start mashing that dislike button, let me tell you that I did like it. I liked it very much. I just didn't love it. People are so caught up on what is at this point a hype runaway freight train surrounding La La Land that any cautious criticism is blown up and turned into this massive attack. And this isn't that. This is just, I saw a wonderful piece of art and had some minor reservations. Also, before we go any further, I want to point out that there are some things in between love and hate. Whenever I say I didn't love La La Land, people go, oh my god, you hated it? How could you hate it? I didn't hate it. There's an awful lot in between those two emotions. Let's get the video admin out of the way. There will be spoilers in this video, so if you've not seen the movie, go off and see the movie, then come back and we'll talk. Also, I don't think my criticisms will stop you adoring La La Land. I think that art is far more subjective than that. It's far more intricate. I love Pirates of the Caribbean. There are some serious, serious problems with those movies, and you putting them out to me will do nothing but make me go, yeah. But then they swashbuckle. Now, if you haven't already, I would suggest you go and watch Dodie's video about La La Land. If nothing else, it's just a pleasure to watch someone who cares that much about a movie share their immense passion for it. In that video, she shares and dismisses summarily 2 criticisms she's heard about La La Land. Hands up, they both came from me. Allow me to explain myself. Sidebar, I do compare this movie a lot to Singing in the Rain. I can't help it, it's my favourite film, and I think Damien Chazelle is on a level with me there. Peter Bradshaw's review in The Guardian points out quite beautifully that essentially Ryan Gosling is playing Debbie Reynolds' character in this movie. Think about it, they both are quite snobbish about their particular field, and then they're both caught out in an embarrassing situation. With Debbie Reynolds, she pops out of a cake. Ryan Gosling wears a keytar, and wears it well. Anyway, here we go. Number 1, the opening sequence. Now, I think that opening sequence is absolutely joyous and wonderful and sunny and happy. I just wish it had the volume turned from 9 to 11. I've been struggling finding the words to describe this. I keep saying I want it to be bigger, but I think that confuses the issue and people think that I want it to be more sequins and more jazz hands and more theatrical than anything else. I don't necessarily want that. I think I just want the singers to push those vocals out a little bit more, and I want them to attack the dance moves a little bit crisper. Dodie's response is that a punchy, smashy, flashy opening number would in some way expose the shortcomings of the 2 leads. I disagree completely. I actually think it's their fragility in terms of vocal performance that makes them so wonderful in this film. They're kind of not polished, and that's why they are real, that's why they're relatable, and I don't think that a big opening number would in any way detract from that. If you're gonna have a legion of people dancing on cars on an entire intersection of a freeway, then have them attack the vocal and the dance just a little bit more. In Singin' in the Rain, if Gene Kelly was doing a tap dance in some puddles, it would still be an absolutely magical moment, but he starts splashing around with such joy and such vigour that it becomes iconic. That's my point. Number 2, there was an article in the LA Review of Books that I will link in the description below, which basically accused Damien Chazelle's movies of featuring men explaining music to women in a condescending manner. I didn't agree with everything in the article. I thought it was interesting and I thought it was well written more than anything else, so I decided to share it as a way of furthering conversation around this movie. There is a scene where I do think this is kind of pertinent in this movie, and that's the scene where they kind of start getting to know each other. Mia and Seb go for a walk around the Warners lot, and Mia talks all about how she loved movies growing up. Then she expresses a distaste for jazz and ignorance about jazz. She talks about Kenny G. And Seb gives her a history lesson about jazz, and it's quite clear that both of these people absolutely adore their individual passions. A little bit later on, she gets a call back for a TV show that she has been a bit dismissive of. Then she says it's like a Rebel Without a Cause. He does a line from Rebel Without a Cause. She has never seen Rebel Without a Cause, so he takes the opportunity to give her a history lesson about her passion. The inference there is that he knows more about her passion than she does, and it just kind of was a bit odd. Now, we see Seb perform numerous times. We see him at the jazz club, we see an entire musical sequence of him and his band, but we never really see anything from her aside from failed auditions, a curtain call to no one, and she's sat in the wings of the theatre hearing literally the phrase, she's not very good. We don't see her work, and we don't really see the fruits of her labour beyond a big poster and an iced latte that she was going to be given for free, but she's too kind to take for free. Again, minor criticisms. It's just something that stuck out to me and made me go, What I will say in countenance to my own argument is that there is an amazing audition scene, and I think sometimes the audition scenes do make up for the lack of actual successful performances we see from her. But the first audition scene we see her in is some of the best acting I've seen on film for years. She's reading a, quite frankly, dire audition script, and she's wearing this big puffer jacket, and someone behind her is trying to get the attention of the casting director, so no one else is paying attention. But what we've got going on is Emma Stone giving this really touching, emotional, vulnerable performance, and it's brilliant. Hi, Editing Dan. It's just occurred to me that the counter to that argument is that Mia's audition scene is her redemption. That's where we see all of her hard work, all of the knockdowns pay off. Yes, absolutely, and what a scene it is. Again though, we see Seb get knocked down, and then we see how well his club is doing. We actually physically see how well his club is doing. We only vaguely know how well Mia is doing. I don't know. Doesn't quite hit the mark for me. Nearly does. I actually have a third one, and this is something a few people have said. I haven't listened to the soundtrack since leaving the movie theatre, and there wasn't a song that was stuck in my head. There was a beautiful, memorable sequence when they're dancing on that hillside. I absolutely adored it. The colour palette, the sort of showcase of their falling for each other through dance, I very, very much liked that. I didn't really remember much in terms of musical numbers, in terms of songs. There was no Make 'Em Laugh, there was no Singing in the Rain, there was no Cell Block Tango, there was no all that jazz. There's no song that you leave having seen the movie once and hum along as you go. And once again, that is my response. That might not be your response. None of this means that the film is bad. It is so far from bad. It is a wonderful, joyous picture, but I still think that my opinions are valid, and actually, that's all criticism is, especially film criticism. It's just opinion. I hope it's clear that I don't feel negatively about this film. I keep trying to repeat it because I'm so terrified of an angry, ukulele-wielding mob. I like it very much. Do you think if Damien Chazelle was in my house, I'd be like, mate, liked the movie, I'd have done it better. I'd have done it like this. Obviously not. First of all, I'd ask him why he was in my house, but then I would be like, please can I shake your hand? Thanks for making such a wonderfully crafted love letter, an homage to the golden age of Hollywood that we both love so much. I was talking with Jack, who doesn't like the idea of saying negative things about a wonderfully crafted movie because it smacks of arrogance, the suggestion somehow that you could do it better, and I want to make it clear that that's not the case. Christ knows I couldn't make that movie. We both agree that we see films and we see things that we like and go, how can I use that in my work? Equally, I see things that I don't like and go, okay, why didn't I like it? What emotion was I looking for in that scene? Why didn't it connect with me? And what lesson does that teach me about storytelling and my approach to it? I think knowing that it's a personal response is key. Even though I am quite clearly in the minority, everyone else's enthusiasm is just as valid as my reservation, and it is our own, and that is part of the joy. Do I think you should see La La Land? Yes. Will I see La La Land again? Yes. Tomorrow, in fact, I'm going to see it again. Will I own it on Blu-ray? Probably. Do I think it will become a timeless classic in manner of the films that it aspires to? I don't know. Time will tell. I can see it personally being on every Christmas and people sitting down to watch it in the same way they watch Mary Poppins. I think it's hard to spot a classic when you're in the moment, and I personally can't wait to review this movie in several years when I'm in a completely different place in my life and just let it wash over me all over again. Time will tell if it will become a classic, but I think it has every chance. That's where I'm at. I hope I've made it clear that this is just my response and that I liked this film. What did you think? Put it in the comments. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Have a chat. That's the point. I love you. I love movies. I love the idea of La La Land. I like it very much. I don't love it. I'm sorry. Bye.